Hi, my name is Sandy Porritt, and I am the Director of Business Development with Comprehensive Finance. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Gary Takacs, founder of Takacs Learning Center. Gary is one of the most recognized dental practice management consultants in dentistry today. And although Gary is not a dentist, he owns a dental practice in partnership with Dr. Paul Nielsen called Life Smiles Dental Care. And as he puts it, this allows him the ability to test the concepts he recommends in his teaching and coaching. So Gary, you implemented comprehensive finance into your practice in June of 2014. Can you share with us what your motivation was when you decided to add comprehensive finance into an already successful practice?
You bet, Sandy. It was just about a year ago that we added comprehensive finance, and Paul, my dentist slash business partner, had just returned from the AACD meeting where he had a chance to hear Bruce Baird speak. Dr. Baird was speaking about financing options and about how to help more patients accept ideal care. And Paul was really excited to get comprehensive finance put in place. Our prime motivation was to help patients receive the recommended treatment that we had provided for them who didn't fit in our other payment categories. We use, of course, cash, check, credit card. We have some outside financing in place with another financing program, but we still wanted to have an option to help our patients that didn't fit into the other buckets. And it has been fantastic for us. You know, Sandy, we're in Phoenix, Arizona, and our area has been very much affected by the downturn in the economy. Our practice, by the way, has done very well despite the downturn. But one of the reasons why we've been able to not only survive but thrive the downturn is we're constantly looking for ways to better serve our patients. And one of our challenges is that we have a lot of patients who have experienced a credit glitch. Perhaps they were laid off during the downturn, or perhaps they had some slow pays on their mortgages. And as a result of that, they couldn't get approved under more stringent financing process. And yet they have good jobs today, are very interested in ideal care, and have turned out to be a very good credit risk for us.
We call that payment worthy instead of credit worthy because they are very valuable within your community and can make payments on a plan. Can you share with me the goals that you've done for utilizing it and why and how you've set up those short-term, midterm, and long-term goals?
Yeah, one of the things we did, we really launched about a year ago, and we decided that we were going to put some parameters in place to allow our team members to really run with comprehensive finance. Frankly, there was some arbitrary nature to our goals, but one of the things we said is that we would allow our team members to approve up to $10,000 a month cumulatively in comprehensive finance. That could theoretically, that could be one patient for $10,000. That could be two for $5. That could be 20 patients at $500 each. It doesn't matter how we get to the 10,000, but we had said to our team members that we would allow them to approve on their own without having to go to Paul or I, up to $10,000 a month. And the reason why we set that limit is that we felt like we needed to be a little bit cautious at first with regard to cash flow, and we wanted to get some experience around that. We weren't strictly limited to $10,000 a month. We did say that if we had cases above that, then our team members could come to Paul or I and we could make a decision based on our review of the circumstances. And in fact, we've done just that. We have had a number of months where we've granted more than $10,000 a month based on the fact that we felt like they were good risks. It's proven out to be very effective for us.
Wonderful. So can you share with me, working with your team on this 10,000 per month, how do you set goals for those team members and how do you get accountability in reaching those goals with them?
We have a really fun compensation system with our team members. I'm a big fan of creating some incentive compensation. I really believe in the idea that the better the practice does, the better the team members should do. But I really think what it does is it helps put the owners and the team members' goals on the same page. So for example, one of our team members is responsible for doctor scheduling. And she receives a bonus based on particular goals related to our doctor's schedule. And so she is motivated to find ways of putting productivity on our schedule. And she works tirelessly to encourage patients to accept necessary treatment, but she also does a great job of following up with patients for treatment that's been recommended but hasn't been scheduled yet. And as a result of that, our schedule has been just very, very full of nice, productive appointments because of the spirit that we use to help our patients accept necessary and elective treatment. And we're finding that, and I know you know this. I know that our listeners may know this, but hey, let's face it today, Sandy. If the only way for anyone to buy a car was to walk into the dealer and pay cash for it, I believe we would not have very many traffic jams on the highways these days. Would you agree with me?
That's right.
One of the other ways we've used comprehensive finance is a lot of times we bump up against an insurance maximum. Where the patient might have $1,000 annual maximum, might have $1,500 annual maximum. They're interested in doing more care quicker, but they don't have the resources to do it without some good financing. And comprehensive finance can be that good option for us to do more quadrant dentistry, do more arch dentistry. So it's allowing us to be a lot more efficient with our patient. And we're really serving our patients well, too, because they would much rather come in and have more care done in fewer appointments than to spread it out, one tooth at a time over a longer period of time.
You guys have a strategy that you have around associates that kind of dwells within this?
Very much, Sandy. In fact, one of our motivations, there were actually many motivations for putting comprehensive finance in place. One of them was to better serve our patients. But the other motivation we had was to help build Tim Schmidt. Tim is our associate dentist. Our goal was also to help build Tim's schedule. He's been with the practice for 2 years. We've done a fantastic job of building his schedule, but the truth is he had a little bit more capacity available than Paul did. Paul typically had reached the point where his schedule was filled up very naturally through the relationships he has with patients in the practice, and now we wanted to get Tim's schedule in the very same place. And comprehensive finance has been an awesome addition. Let's fill Tim's schedule. Just fill it, but fill it with more productive activities, doing more quadrant care, doing more arch care, doing more ideal care. And it has vastly exceeded our expectations in terms of helping fill Tim's schedule as well.
Can you also share how you believe comprehensive finance benefits the patient and why that is so important to the practice?
Well, as we've talked about, and I know that and Bruce has certainly experienced this in his practice, that if you're in rapport and the patient has trust and relationship with you, they tend to respond very well to your treatment recommendations. So if we're in a good relationship, and everything about our new patient experience, by the way, is about really connecting with our patients and building that all-important trust that we have with our patients. Once we have that trust, and then we present the recommended treatment, then really the only question to answer is, how can I afford this? I'm interested in this. From the patient's perspective, they say, hey, I'm interested in this. I want to have ideal oral health. I want to take better care of myself. I want to have a healthier, more attractive smile. Now, how can I afford it? And that's where I really, my team members, I want to take a minute and give them a shout out, because my team members do a fantastic job of sort of embracing the patient's perspective and helping become their advocate and helping them find a great option that will work for them to have the treatment that they need and deserve, and yet do it in a way that is appropriate for their budget. All of my team members are family people, and they understand budgets, they understand limitations, and they understand that they want to be an advocate and to help our patients receive the care they need or want.
Right. And I'm sure that leads to more referrals to new patients. And do you also utilize this for pending treatment?
Absolutely. In fact, once we got comprehensive finance in place last June, and we kind of got our bearings and got our feet on, kind of on the ground with all the different details, one of the things that Lori, our scheduling coordinator, did was to go back and follow up with treatment with patients who had treatment recommended, but they hadn't completed. And she simply reached out to them. And for example, I'll role play. Is it okay if I role play with you, Sandy, as the patient?
Yes.
So I'll role play as if I was Lori and you were the patient that had some pending treatment. She would just make what we call a we care call. And she'd say something like, Sandy, this is Lori calling from Life Smiles Dental Care. I just wanted to follow up on the treatment that Dr. Nielsen recommended when we saw you last. I know that you're very interested in getting that taken care of. Since we've talked last, we put in a real cool financing system that is allowing our patients to make monthly payments that are more suited for their budget. And I thought you may be interested in that. May I take a minute and kind of go over that with you and show you how this might be a good fit for you? Now, even when patients didn't necessarily schedule, they were all very appreciative and thankful of the contact because it was done in a spirit of helpfulness, a spirit of helping them receive the care that they need and want. And the tone was very much in that spirit of empathy and helpfulness. And because of that, it just worked in spades. We continue to do that. We continue to go back and follow up on a regular basis with patients. And again, it's resulting in one of two things. Either they are scheduling now because now we're providing an option that wasn't available before, or they're thanking us for staying in touch and we're keeping them in the loop. Either way, it's a good outcome. Obviously, we prefer to have them on the schedule, but sometimes just by reaching out and staying in contact, it's maintaining a rapport, a relationship with that patient in an active status. Sandy, we love comprehensive finance. It has greatly exceeded our expectations. Our expectations were that it would be a very useful addition. We thought it would be useful. However, it has so far exceeded that it's hard for me to even put it in words and describe it. What it really allows us to do, it allows us to accommodate virtually any patient in our practice. It allows us to find a payment option that works for them and works for us. We've had fantastic results with comprehensive finance. To date, knock on wood, we've not had a default. We fully expect one at some point. That's expected, in the odds and the nature of statistics, and it's allowed us to do a lot of dentistry we would not have done any other way. And that's maybe the coolest takeaway that I'd like our listeners to take away from this. It has allowed us to do dentistry that we simply would not have done had we not had comprehensive finance in place. That's a win for our practice, and that's a win for the patients.